you're watching Wando Wednesdays.
Hello, welcome to Wando Wednesdays. I'm
What up?
Juan,
And I'm Mondo.
and today we'll be talking about Hurricane Isaac.
Yes.
As you all know, there's a hurricane named Isaac, and possibly coming our way. I really don't know much about this hurricane, but
Tropical storm.
tropical storm, correction. But Mondo may know some things about this tropical storm.
Supposedly, as of right now, it's going to be turning into Louisiana. So, people in this area probably are safe. We'll probably just get the outer bands. But from what I've heard, it could develop into Category 1 hurricane if things get worse.
Hurricanes are his favorite football team.
Yes, they are. They're very scary and fast winds, and they destroy things.
It's
Just like the Miami Hurricanes.
It's an analogy almost. I mean,
Actually, the reason why they're named the Hurricanes was they were looking for a name when they first started the team, and then a hurricane destroyed like a whole bunch of crap. Well, I say crap. During that season, and so they decided to name the team the Hurricanes.
you look at that. Also, I mean, I'm in a whole nother environment than from back home. Back home, I'm from the Southwest Florida region, Naples, Florida, Immokalee, Florida, between that area. And hurricanes are a lot more,
Frequent.
I guess you say frequent, more destroyful, if that's a word, more
Destructive.
I've
Fierce.
fierce. I've never been this unscared of a hurricane.
That's true.
I mean, I remember going outside when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. The roads are flooded. You go out there, you water up to your knees. Wind's about to take you off the ground. But here we're more in the Panhandle area, and it's more the country, good old side of Florida, where the cotton's white and the corn is yellow.
Yeah. One thing that's pretty interesting, I texted my dad and asked him if Isaac was there yet, because he's still in Naples, Florida. And he said, yeah, Isaac's here, but he's a punk. So, don't worry too much. My dad says Isaac's a punk.
Punk meaning not scary,
Yeah.
not bad.
One thing that's interesting, though, we've been through, like he said, a lot of hurricanes. And I think the worst one or might have just been a tropical storm, but I think it was our sophomore year maybe, or going into our sophomore year, something. There was a pretty bad storm, and it like destroyed a lot of stuff in Immokalee. It was mostly like trailers that got messed up in houses, like trees fell on them and stuff. But one thing that was crazy was my friend, his name is Gorman. I think that's who it was, Gorman. That's a weird name, I know, but he's a pretty cool guy. We were both runners, and he went running during the storm because he was like crazy about running. I liked running, and I still like to run, but he was like crazy. He went running during the storm. He ran like 6 miles, and my coach slapped him the next day at practice whenever we had practice again. He's like, "You're an idiot." So
Could have died.
yeah, but at that time, he said he ran when it was a little more calm, and right after the storm, me and my stepdad, we played catch, football with the football. It was pretty fun, but the wind was carrying the football a lot. But we were pretty scared because we could have died.
I mean, a lot of people were like, I went for a run yesterday around town, and I saw people's houses like with plywood outside the windows and shutters being put up, and I thought it was funny how I guess you could say overly prepared they seem, because it's not a big deal to me. Like I said, I'm not used to a hurricane, waiting this long for a hurricane to hit. So I mean, some preparations I would have taken, which I have taken none. Yet my mom called me yesterday. She's like, "Son, I need to know what you're doing for the hurricane." I'm like, "Mom, don't worry. I'm Juan," meaning I'm like Superman. I'll just run away from it, Mom. I'm fast. Anyways, some preparations I could make. Maybe I would, get myself a little bit of. Remember that one time the power went out here, and everyone was packing their bags up, and they're packing their bags with food and with supplies and stuff. And I've never been in this kind of situation where it's like a dire life or death situation. So I just grabbed whatever was in my room. I grabbed 2 Kool-Aid packets and 2 packets of ramen and filled up a water bottle and threw it in there. and I brought this little night light with me that I need to plug into the wall just in case I needed a light source, which probably didn't make any sense because you need electricity. Well, anyways, preparations. As you can see, I'm never good at preparing for hurricanes or many, I guess you can say, life-threatening situations. I'm more the kind of guy who lives life on the edge, although I have been trained.
Yes, he is a certified disaster relief person. Employee, or I guess you're a volunteer because you don't get paid.
Employee.
But one thing that's pretty interesting, like he said, we've been through a lot of hurricanes and tropical storms and stuff. But one thing that's pretty cool about this one is I got a call. It's okay. I put my phone on vibrate. One thing that's pretty cool about like what me and Juan have been through, especially that storm, and that was actually our freshman year in this place that we are in right now. This location, which we will not announce at this time.
Classified.
It's classified. But we were like, everybody was freaking out, and me and Juan were like, let's just go back to bed. It was like 2 a.m. It was pretty bad though. It was storming like really bad outside. Like we saw limbs flying everywhere, and we're like, oh man, maybe class will be canceled because the power was out, like you said. And then we had class the next morning, and
skipped.
We were pretty depressed. But the thing that was really tough about that situation
AC went out.
was the AC went out. And me and Juan, we love our AC.
Yes.
Okay, we were roommates for 2 years. This is the first year that we haven't been roommates, and I know we're both pretty broken up about it. But anyway, we have our AC at the lowest it could possibly be. There was 1 week where our AC wasn't working, and we almost died. Like we were both like just laid out on our beds, and we were just sweating profusely, and it was just crazy. It took about 3 days to for the maintenance to fix the AC, just because there was a lot of problems that semester, and luckily they got it fixed. But we have ours like at 60, okay, all the time. And our freshman year, that year, we had a fan blowing at all times, and so it was like lower than 60 degrees in our room at all times. Juan would board up or cover up the anywhere that light could come in, like the doors. He would put a sheet over it. On the windows, he put a sheet over it. It was just crazy. It was completely black, completely cold all the time. But that day, it was so hot, and it sucked. Like we said. But a lot of people were freaking out. Like most people from here are from like Alabama or
Georgia.
Some are from Georgia, place like that.
Tennessee.
We know a few people from Tennessee, but
Arkansas.
places like that, you know, where hurricanes don't usually hit, basically. And so we were freaking out that night, and me and Juan were like, "Relax, dude."
Go to bed.
Yeah, we're like, "It's okay." And then Juan broke was it you that broke the glow stick?
No, brother-in-law George.
George broke a glow stick, and I was like, "Dude, like that's for whenever like 3 days later we have no power and we can't see anything. You don't do that the first time, like in the middle of the first night.
When the lights still work."
But shout out to George Shepherd. But anyway, be careful this weekend. Hopefully the storm isn't that bad. Like my dad said, Isaac seems like a punk. So hopefully you guys take the necessary precautions. Be checking your email, and have a great afternoon. Wando Wednesdays.
Stay gold.
Stay golden. Stay classy, my friends.
Stay cold.
Stay cold. Hopefully it gets cold from here on out after the storm.
Hopefully like global warming happens and we freeze.
Anyway.
Because we love the cold.
Thank you guys.
Bye guys.
Peace.